If I crack a joke at you, I do that because I expect them to do it back to me. And when they don't, because a lot of people don't, a lot of people have problems with being extroverted. A lot of people are shy, and they get offended, and that's cool. I mean, of course they do, because you give them a hard time.
Yeah.
But I do it because I expect it back.
Sure.
I want it. I want people to be mean to me so I can be mean back. You know what I'm saying? Just not mean, but I'm saying like
the playfulness.
Exactly.
It's a wrestling match, but it's a fun one where no one breaks teeth.
There's a great speaking of that, like the mental match, the mental game.
Yeah.
Which I love. I love the mental challenge. Like, talk to somebody and just hitting things off each other.
Stimulus.
There's a great scene in a movie called Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
The characters from Hamlet. Some guy wrote a play based on two characters in Hamlet.
The guy who wrote Shakespeare in Love wrote this.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And it's got Gary Oldman and Tim Roth, I think it is.
Correct.
Play the
yes, Tim Roth. Right.
Yeah, they're the lead roles. And there's just these two guys, and basically the whole movie is just them talking.
Yeah.
And they got a lot of talk, and they say some funny stuff, and it's really intelligent.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. They've got this great scene where somehow this is like, so it's Hamlet times, which is, I don't know, 11th century, 12th century, something like that.
Hamlet actually has shifted. Yeah, it's got a castle in Denmark.
Yeah, exactly. It's got a castle and horses. Denmark. No cars.
Yeah. So
that's
probably medieval, basically.
Yeah. But they got a tennis court in the castle, which is really weird.
I remember that.
I don't think they had tennis, but they had a court. Of course, it was a castle. They have courts.
I think they did. It's a British thing. That's why Wimbledon is such a big deal.
Right.
Anyway, yeah.
And they do this game. They play mental tennis, where they argue with each other, and they have a set of rules. So they stand like you do in tennis. You got one guy over here, one guy over here, and then you switch like this, right? With the serves and all that, and you move forward and get on the net and get back on the baseline. But they do it with arguments. It's a really cool setup because there are rules to it. There's a set of rules. Like you have to be original. Mm-hmm. No repetition.
Okay, yeah, that's a bad idea.
No questions. Only statements. No hesitation. I think I illustrated that pretty well right there, where I hesitated before I said it.
Good.
But there's none of that, and you play it, and you go. So the first guy starts off, he serves, and he's got an argument. He puts a statement out there, and the other one has a reply with another statement. And if he hesitates or if he's unoriginal, it's a point for the other guy. And they do that for a while. Banter over a net, basically.
Yeah.
Arguments, discussion is a sport.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really cool idea. I like that, and I to me, like, all social interaction is like that.
It is, yeah.
Basically, it is. You've got a set of rules. Of course, they're not that strict, but you got a set of rules. There's some stuff you don't do.
Farting is generally bad in most companies.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to start a conversation, the first thing you do is you don't kick the guy in the shin. That's not how you start it out. Yeah. That's not an argument, which is good for you.
That's bitchery, and don't do it.
Yeah, don't kick people. Hitting is all right. Kicking is harder to block. Although the legs are stronger, so I guess it can take more pounding.
It just gets very challenging once you hit the knee. Well, anyway.
See, I can't do the kicks because I can't lift my legs up.
Well, it's a raw deal in any case.
I need a lift to get up here.
It's kind of up there.
Yeah, we're about to fall in.
It's fantastic.
Awesome, this nature is rocking.
You like it?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But what I was saying is that the game, the sport of it, is what I like. I love that. I love, like, when you meet someone, like when I meet you. That's why I love you, man. Because back in Moscow, for me, intellectual stimulus is a big deal. I have to have. I'm a talkative person. I'm chatty, but it's got to be like more recent. The older I get, the more I realize that I limit it, because I've stopped trying to have conversations with people I think are stupid.
Really?
Like back in the day,
I don't pick up anything less than a quarter, and stupid people are off the map.
That's pretty much. That's exactly what it is. If I don't think you're funny, I'm not going to talk to you.
Wow.
Because I'm not going to tell you jokes.
That's fair.
Because you're not going to get them.
What's the point?
Exactly.
I feel that. Okay.
And that's why I love. But most people, I mean, that's very rare. You rarely meet genuinely stupid people.
I agree. I would agree with that.
Like I said, we're going to Texas later, and we'll see what happens. with the ratio. Yeah, I hope you guys from Texas are gonna love this.
I've heard there's a small village somewhere missing its idiot. That's all I've heard. That's all I've heard. Have you seen that bumper? Sticker? No. It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah. I remember one day on this tip, real quick, anecdotally, a guy we know from Turkey or Cyprus, depending on what day you talk to him. He came into math one day, which I clearly cared a lot about, and he was like, he looked at me very seriously, straight in the eye. Do you know how many stupid people there are in this world? He was totally like, yeah.
Yeah, there's you. There's the other guy. There's that girl in 5th grade. She's really weird.
That's rough.
No, but I mean, yeah.
So your patience for the person who does not really provide that stimulus has actually dropped as you've aged. It's risen for me as I've aged.
And that's something that...
When I was young, I had no tolerance.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now I'm better.
Yeah, well, I suppose
I
didn't have any tolerance either, but I talked to everybody, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't care. That's the thing. I didn't care so much about the other person. I just talked for me.
Exactly. Me too. I did too. Well, and you. I talk for you.
And exactly. Well,
you know the people you bounce off.
Exactly. And I didn't used to care. Like, I don't care if you get it or not. I'm still going to talk.
Yeah, me too.
But now,
sometimes it's for the joke,
and it's something. It's a negative thing. Is what I'm saying. I mean, this is something that I'm sad about. This is a sad evolution of my personality. Is that nowadays I'm not. I don't give a anymore. So I don't have to impress anybody.
Yeah.
And I don't need to include anybody.
Yeah.
Which is it's a good thing because it relaxes me and it saves my voice. Yeah. Because I don't have to talk to everybody anymore. But it's still really exclusive, and I don't like that part of me. I don't like leaving people out. I want everybody to be in on the fun.
But which I like. But in terms of aging, do you find that your social circles are getting smaller, larger, or remaining the same?
No, they're smaller.
Me too. So it's not like the selectivity is necessarily bad because it's a smaller pool.
Right.
I find the same thing where I don't nearly, back in the day, hey man, you're wearing a t-shirt, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
It was like that.
Yeah.
And then, as I've aged, I don't have time for that.
Exactly.
I just don't have time for that. And so I've gotten more selective, and there are admittedly people that I enjoy people. I do. At this point, I really enjoy them as equals because I finally realized I'm human. And it really is good.
Yeah.
Because I think back in the day, we literally thought we were invincible. Yeah, we lived in the wild west of Moscow, but the fact is, we considered ourselves basically bulletproof.
Pretty much.
In every respect.
I think everybody does that. I think when you're 15 years old, you don't have a clue.
Yeah, you're totally ignorant and naive.
You don't know most people don't know about disease, and most people are lucky enough not to know about disease.
Yeah.
And and you don't know about like injuries. I mean, injuries are just like, oh, I stubbed my foot, and I got a bruise on my knee or whatever. I scraped my elbow, and stuff like that, right?
Sure.
And most people don't really, because that's the truth. I mean, you hear a lot about how violent the world is.
Yeah.
And obviously, sure, it's a violent world, but for most people, there's a very little violence. And especially when you grow up. The younger you are, obviously, the less violence you've experienced.
I hope.
Hopefully.
Exactly.
Yes. A lot of people, unfortunately, a lot of people grew up in violent environments, but most people, violence is not a big deal. Because, and that's what does it. For 15-year-olds, you don't know. You don't know that you could say stuff that'll get you beat up.
Yeah.
You don't really, I mean, you can understand it because in school, obviously, you say the wrong thing to the wrong guy, and he's gonna. But generally, like, you don't really realize what you're doing. I mean, you don't offensive. Nothing is offensive to a 15-year-old. For other people, when I was 15, oh, that's offensive.
Oh, I see what you're saying. There's no sense of what offensive might even be.
Exactly, because you don't give.
You're just not offended.
Yeah, and that's exactly, and that's the thing with like you're saying with the invincibility.
Yeah,
is that's part of that because you don't get it. You don't understand that you might hurt somebody.